Hello, welcome back to my channel, my friends. Happy Thursday. It is in fact Thursday when I'm starting this vlog. I have been low-key a little bit swamped with things around the house, also with getting a video done for Sunday, so I have not had time to devote to vlogging, and I have not loved the past couple of weeks. I feel like I have been very off and on with the vlogging, maybe not giving y'all the content that you deserve, and so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we are going to be locked in. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be doing a lot of fun things together, and I, for one, am very excited about it. And this vlog is going to be very heavily focused on lifestyle, so I'm going to be talking to you about my workout schedule, my weightlifting routine, how I got into lifting, that sort of thing, and also talking to you about the foods that I've been eating. Not necessarily like a whole what I eat in a day kind of thing, but just showing you like some of the meals that I'm having. And then also, I think this weekend, Hayden and I might try to do some fun stuff. He has been really swamped with work this week. He's been in the office 9 to 7 every day for the past like 3 to 4 days. I miss him. I want to hang out with him. It's fun having him on camera with me, so that's what you have to look forward to this week. Probably going to be less reading heavy because I'm working on Hayden's taste test, and those books are fucking long, but if I have some time, I will probably read other stuff as well because I have a lot of audiobooks checked out from my library for list videos, etc., etc. So lots to talk about, lots to have fun with over the next 4 days. I'm also going to be doing some reading sprints today. Who knows what I'll read, but that's another thing on the agenda. I wanted to kick things off with something I've been thinking about a lot, something that I have been getting comments about, and something that I just love to talk about, which is weightlifting. So I'm going to do kind of like a weightlifting 101 and or how I got into weightlifting right here. I want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. I am not a personal trainer. I do not have that sort of experience with weightlifting, but I have been weightlifting on and off the past 14 years, and I feel like I have a fair amount of experience and or can point you in the right direction if you are looking to get into weightlifting as well. So first things first, I have been weightlifting since I was about 15 or 16. I started weightlifting with my mom, who is so well muscled. Both of my parents are in very incredible shape for their age and have really instilled in me the need to remain physically active, which is why this whole lifestyle change has come about. I don't want to say it's the whole why. There's a lot of whys behind it, but it's something that I've valued for a long time but haven't always done. And wow, the cognitive dissonance there has not been kind to me in a lot of ways. Yeah, my mom started training me when I was about 15 or 16. I would go to the gym with her. I would kind of run the program she was running. At the time, she was doing a sort of like lower body and then 2 upper body day split. I think she was working out 3 days a week, and it was lower body and then it was back and biceps, chest and triceps was her split, and I just kind of performed whatever exercises that she was doing. I got a lot of experience in the gym with compound movements and or certain isolation exercises. My mom is a very no-nonsense person when it comes to weightlifting because I think she was initially trained by my dad. She wasn't doing a lot of the shit that you see on Instagram, a lot of like the nonsense that doesn't actually improve your physique or get you any sort of strength gains. So I'm grateful for that foundation that was laid for me. That did not prevent me from falling down that kind of trap. When I turned 22, I got a good foundation for things, and when I turned 22 is when I really got back into weightlifting. That was kind of in the midst of grad school when I was stuck in a classroom all day long. I wasn't walking from class to class in grad school like I was in college. We were stuck in one classroom and I was so bored. Mostly physically. I was like, I do not like being cooped up and sitting in a chair all day, and I really need to find some way to move my body, and I landed on weightlifting because I would say like the 2010s were really the heyday of weightlifting for women. That was pretty much all women were doing, was trying to get like big juicy asses and doing whatever they could to do that. And so I wanted to join in, and I decided to do that. In doing so, I definitely did some silly stuff in the gym. I definitely saw some strength gains, some physique gains, but I was doing some stuff that like probably didn't actually help me very much. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos and trying to find like new and fun exercises to include when I probably should have just been sticking to the basics all along. But I am grateful for that experience because I got to kind of branch out on my own and like do things that were not programmed for me and kind of develop a split of my own, figure out what exercises that I liked versus didn't like, even if some of them were silly. Like I still figured out that, you know, I still really love leg press. I love leg press more than I love back squats, like things like that. So it was a valuable experience for me, even if it wasn't necessarily like the most optimal training. And then fast forward a few years, I weightlifted on and off, I would say, after I graduated grad school and was working a 9 to 5, but I obviously started getting very consistent when I decided to change my whole life, if you will. That's where we start. That's where we can begin, and I can kind of tell you what to look out for in weightlifting and where to begin. So I think important for reference and important to know is just like the basics of exercise when it comes to weightlifting. Basically 2 main forms of exercises when you weightlift. There are compound exercises and isolation exercises, okay? Compound movements are things that include multiple muscle groups. So squatting, doing a bench press, pull-ups, things like that. They're engaging multiple different muscles and they have a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to strength. You can look up a list of compound exercises to kind of fully understand what I'm talking about. And there's isolation exercises. So those those are things that do basically just one particular thing and target one particular muscle. I don't want to overgeneralize, but you can kind of think of compound exercises as like the free weight section of the gym, where the dumbbells and the barbells and stuff are, and you can kind of think of isolation exercises as like the machines and like the cable tower and things like that. I think it's important that whatever program you select has both kinds of exercises within it. Sure, if you really hate a certain compound exercise, I think it's fine to exclude that, especially if it's really painful for you to perform as well. You got to take things at your own pace, but I think it's important to have a mix. And there's a third genre, shall we say, of exercise that can kind of get confusing because it seems like it could be like isolation exercises, and that would be something I like to fondly call bullshit on Instagram, which is exercises that are performed just because they look cool and don't actually, again, help you with your strength and help you build a lasting physique and or mobility into the future. They're not going to probably hurt you, maybe, but they definitely aren't going to, get you where you want to be. And sometimes it can be confusing as a beginner to see the difference between an isolation exercise and bullshit, which is why I recommend a program. So programming, I think, is pretty important. Finding a program that works for you and your lifestyle is like really ultimately the key. And it also prevents you from having to do too much research, frankly. I am pro research and I love weightlifting so much that my YouTube recommended is often things about weightlifting. But if that's not you and you're a beginner and you don't want to go down that rabbit hole, let me recommend a couple of different programs that I really like. I'll also tell you some things to consider. So 3 different programs that I have personally tried and or can vouch for based on the quality of exercise and the quality of what you're getting for the money would be the Alive app by Whitney Simmons. Whitney back in the day did some of the bullshit exercises, I would say, over on her YouTube channel, but for the most part, she has been a pretty solid recommender of exercise and or a pretty solid source for different exercises for a very long time. She does have free stuff and free resources on her YouTube channel, but her app is really great because it is a program that you can follow. You can watch the exercises on the app, and there are different programs within the app. So there is like an at-home program, there's a postpartum program, there is, a lower body focus program. There's so many different programs that you can follow. I also have tried the Sweat app. That's an older one, but they have so many different programs you can try. I was running, I think, the Power program by Kelsey Wells for a while. Her stuff is really good. Kelsey Wells has a crazy good physique. I love how muscly and toned and just shredded she is. I like the way that she sets up her program, but the program that I'm currently using and have kind of like adapted to fit me and my lifestyle is not an app at all. It is Stephanie Buttermore's Foundations program. It is a like one-time purchase. It's a PDF, and embedded within the PDF are links to the exercises. So if you're unfamiliar with like how to perform a chest press or how to perform a back squat, she has herself performing those exercises, and you can like watch her form to kind of understand what she is doing. Within it, like if you print out the PDF, you can start marking down your reps and your weights and things like that. So you can mark your progression over time, because that's what you should be doing with weightlifting, is progressing over time, whether it's the amount of reps you're doing or like the weight that you're lifting. But yeah, Stephanie Buttermore's Foundations program is what I'm personally focusing on, but I have adapted it to my own needs. Now, one thing I also think is really cool about the Foundations program is that it already has baked in the option and the ability to pick how many days of a week you want to exercise. I think there's a 3, 4, and 5 day option, which is really nice, just depending on how often you want to be in the gym. I have personally adapted it to be a 3-day full body workout, and I follow pretty much exactly what she says, but I add additional volume in the form of additional exercises that are not included on her PDFs. Mostly because with experience in the gym comes an understanding of the things that you like and the things that really work for you and different muscle groups. So let's say that in Stephanie's program, there is a lat pull down exercise. So going to, an overhead lat pull down on that particular machine. I'll do that exercise, but I know for me personally, the way that I feel the most activation of my lats and the most soreness and or just the best pump, I guess, in my lats is to do bent over rows. So I also include bent over rows in my programming. So I pretty much do all of the exercises that is within the Foundations program, but I have added quite a bit of volume to it because honestly, I like a high volume. I think her Foundations program is great because I think pretty much anyone can start it. And I want to say that each day she only has like 5 or 6 different exercises within it. For me, for my Mondays and Thursdays, I am actually doing 10 different exercises because I like a higher volume. That's just something I know about myself because I've been lifting for a while. Yeah, I am personally doing a full body kind of situation. Foundations program is, I think for the most part, a full body sort of situation. That is something that I have come to enjoy. I wouldn't say I have a huge preference, and I don't think you're going to see like huge difference in gains based on whether you're doing like a body part split or a full body situation. We'll say the thing that I like about full body split versus, separating body parts out is that if I, for some reason, have to miss an exercise, I know that I've already taken care of my entire body, even if I'm only lifting one day out of the week, if that makes sense. Whereas if I had like a 3-day body part split, probably be continuously hitting legs if I was doing legs on Monday. Like, let's say something comes up on Thursday and like I'm not doing my upper body. Like, I don't know. I personally like to do a full body split for that reason, and I have seen good results with it. That being said, sometimes you can experience excessive soreness if you're doing full body 3 days a week just beginning. So you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons and kind of figure out what works for you. And I think experimentation is really great too. All of this is going to come with a lot of experimentation, but I think having a program to work off of is going to be your saving grace, especially if you don't know where to begin. So I would say any of those 3 options are really great. There's also like a ton of other people that you can look to, but I can vouch for those programs in specific. Again, the Power program through Sweat, Winnie Simmons Live app, and then the Stephanie Buttermore program. And I think Stephanie has a few different programs at this point. When I bought, I think she only had the foundations, and I think I don't know what the other one's called, but I bought a bundle of her two that were available at the time. But now I think she has one for like very busy people. I think she also has one for like at-home workouts. And the reason I like Stephanie is because she's really smart. I really connect with people who are very science-backed and who really try to find the most bang for your buck exercises. And Jeff Nippard, her fiance, is also the same way. I think they collaborated on building the program together, and I will often watch Jeff's programming, some of his YouTube videos as well, to kind of like, I don't know, grow in my knowledge of weightlifting. I think he's really great too. If you're just like looking to understand the science of working out better, he talks about things in a very, I would say, accessible way, but he brings the studies, the science, and shows you the details. So Jeff, I think, is also great. Like, you can run his programs as well if you'd like, but the ones that Stephanie runs are a little bit more female targeted, shall we say. Like, if you want to grow a big ass, which I think a lot of us kind of do, that she kind of focuses more on the lower body side of things with a decent amount of volume for the upper body. And honestly, when I think about it, that's kind of what I have added to Stephanie's program, volume in terms of upper body, because I think the Foundations program does a slight emphasis on the lower body, but I fucking love working back, so I have more back exercises in my routine. Yeah, so my split is Monday, Thursday, Saturday? Yes, Monday, Thursday, Saturday. Monday and Thursday are my really high volume days. I do 10 different exercises, and then I do Stairmaster afterwards for 20 minutes at zone 4 cardio levels. And then my Saturday exercise is kind of just like covering what I haven't already and focusing more on core. I guess one thing that I could also point out, but I think you should probably do your own research on, is like training volume and or progression in the gym. Your main goal with weightlifting should be getting stronger. I think progressing in the gym. I'm not saying that you need to be like crazy yoked and like try to lift the heaviest weights possible, but I think a lot of us, especially as women, we can tend to not go hard enough in the gym, and we can just like casually grab some 10-pound dumbbells and just kind of fling them and just have some fun. But I think the key to really growing and really seeing progress is really pushing yourself, really challenging yourself to improve week over week. That is one thing I do want to point out to you. If you are someone who is building your own program, or you were doing the Stephanie Buttermore program, I would personally recommend using the Strong app to record your workouts. Now, the free version only allows you to do, I think, 3 different templates, to make 3 different templates, but it basically looks like this. You can input your different exercises that you're doing. So if you're doing Stephanie's program, you can put in all of your exercises here. And when you click start workout, it shows the different like weights, the different reps and things. And like, obviously you can insert that information, and you can also track over time how you're doing. So last week, let's say I did 30-pound hip thrusts. I'm pretty weak, let's be honest. Like, I'm still very much beginner. So 30 pounds for 10 reps. Okay. So this week I want to make sure that I am going either up in reps, so the amount of exercises I'm performing, or I want to go up in my weight. So instead of doing 30 pounds, I want to do 35 pounds this week. So just something to also point out. Getting a good program and or trying to improve every week or every couple of weeks, I think is the key to success, and then you should be golden. When it comes to weightlifting, I'm really liking what I'm doing right now. I think that it has been working. I have seen pretty remarkable strength gains. If you want to know why you should weightlift, I would recommend reading Outlive by Peter Attia, because he could tell you that, but pretty much anyone can tell you that weightlifting is crucial, especially for women as we age, because you do not want to have osteoporosis, you do not want to have sarcopenia, you want to maintain your muscle, you want to be able to walk around, you want to be able to be mobile for as long as possible. So lift some weights. I would recommend it. That is one thing that I have very strong opinions on. I would say most of health and fitness, I'm kind of like, do you, and like have fun. And I do believe you should have fun and experiment with different things and like try different classes. But one, I think non-negotiable should be weightlifting for everybody. That's it. That's it for me. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, I guess, leave them in the comments down below. I'm gonna go ahead and mosey downstairs and get some lunch, and I'll show you what I'm eating. I like how I made it sound like my lunch was going to be like super interesting. It's not, but I'm very excited about it. I got a few few different meals from Snap Kitchen this week. I feel like I have been on a constant hunt and or constant solution, things that I can eat when Hayden isn't home. And since I knew that he wasn't going to be home for dinners this week for the most part, I knew that I didn't want to eat fast food for every meal. It just like was not something I was excited about. I talked about it on sprints recently, but something that I have a hard time with is I love fast food. I love getting food out, but when I am on a like kind of say strict diet, like I'm not on a strict diet, but when I'm trying to eat high protein, it can be challenging to find high protein meals when you're out. And so I was repeating the same meals over and over again and getting really burnt out on the couple of fast food options I could eat. And I also don't really like to cook. It's not something that's in my wheelhouse. And frankly, I just don't have the desire to learn how, you know, maybe that's stupid. Maybe that's something I should work on. I do occasionally make food. Okay. I just wasn't in the mood this week. So I decided to try some pre-prepared food. If you've heard of Factor, Snap Kitchen is kind of similar. And I know they have locations in other states, but I think it's like a Texas thing mostly. I got the Hatch Chili Alfredo, which is what I'm going to be having for lunch today. I'm very excited about it. I got some salads. I got some bowls. I got some pasta. Yesterday I had the cacio e pepe. Very good. Very, very good. It has a big hunk of chicken on top. This one is similar. It's got a big hunk of chicken on top as well. And I liked the macros of this more than a lot of the stuff I was seeing on Factor. Factor was just like a little bit too high in calories for me. I'm going to be honest with you for a lot of their options, especially since what I'm thinking of doing into the future is getting Snap Kitchen meals like every week or every other week for lunches. Like I don't like to eat a huge lunch. I'd rather have like a big breakfast and then a big dinner. Yeah, these suit my needs a little bit better. So this also has 38 grams of protein. Hello, we love that. And so I am going to eat this for lunch and then probably a salad for dinner, kind of like the reverse of what most people would do. But I do prefer to eat more of my food in the beginning of the day. And since I did not have a big breakfast today, I'm having this. Lots of explanation. I'll give you a taste test and let you know how this is, but I love Hatch chilies and I love Alfredo. So I'm assuming this is going to be pretty dang good. I was not convinced before yesterday that like microwaving pasta would be my preference, but yeah. The reason too that I got this instead of a frozen food meal is that macros just tend to be a little bit better in terms of protein. Also, this is pretty fresh food. You know, it's almost like meal prep. You know what I mean? I might try Factor in the future, I will say. Let me know if you want to see that. But so far, I'm really enjoying Snap Kitchen. So I'm gonna heat this up and I'll give you a taste test. This smells so good. The color is not super appetizing, I won't lie. It's a sort of like weird pale green color. I think it's from the Hatch chilies, but it smells really good. Surprisingly, the sauce didn't separate, which I feel like is a problem I have with Alfredos. Typically, that's really good. That's really good. I think the chicken they use is really well seasoned. I really enjoy it. It's like very mildly seasoned, if that makes sense. I mean, it's not spicy, but that's not what I meant by mild. It's just like, it's really well cooked grilled chicken. I don't know what spices they use on it, but it's a very neutral seasoning, which I actually kind of prefer when it comes to prepped meals like this. An issue that I always had with HelloFresh, and Haden did as well, is that a lot of the seasoning packets they send are the same, and so all the food tastes the same, even if the other ingredients are different. So with this, it's like the chicken is kind of taking a back seat to the other flavors going on, and I personally really appreciate that. Obviously, if I'm doing like a really fancy chicken dish, I want there to be an abundance of interesting seasonings, but like for this particular situation, I really like how this chicken is prepared. It tastes really good. I know this is going to fill me up. Like this is a huge hunk of chicken. That's only one half of it. I cut it in half when microwaving just so it would like cook a little bit more evenly, but yeah, this is good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna finish and I'm gonna mosey on upstairs to do some sprints and then we can go to the gym. And I won't be taking you to the gym, but I'll let you know how it goes. Mostly because I don't know how people feel comfortable filming in the gym. Respect it, but I'm too nervous to do that, so I will not be doing that. See you in a little bit. Hello friends, I am clearly back from the gym. I had a Cobb salad for dinner and it was delightful. It was another Snap Kitchen thing. So sorry if you can hear noises. We've got Ted eating. We also have the kittens eating down there. This is just our normal night routine. I feed them and then I make my yogurt. And I thought we could make my yogurt together because this has been a recipe that has undergone the most change over, I would say, the past like little while. And I feel like I found the most banging recipe that is high in protein, high in fiber, delicious, filling, satiating, just everything that I personally need. It strikes the perfect balance between like healthy and also treat. So let me show you how to make it. Okay, first things first, you're going to need fruit of your choosing. I like strawberries. I have strawberries every single time. I got this cutesy little thing of strawberries from Walmart when I went to get some protein muffins. Don't remember half the time if I've told y'all things or if it was just something that was said during reading sprints, but I tried the Quest Bake Shop muffins, the chocolate chip, and heated up for like 10 seconds. Those are actually quite good and really fulfill my sweet tooth. So Would recommend. Also, I will say these strawberries are not as good as the ones that I got at the local grocery store, but that's okay. So this is 60 grams of strawberries. I think it was like 5 or 6. Obviously, you can have more than this. I am just someone who has a complicated relationship with fruit and also with yogurt, to be frank, but I want to incorporate fruit into my diet. This is about as much fruit as I can do in a day. I'm so sorry. Like, maybe as I age, that'll change, but right now, getting any fruit in my diet, I'll consider that a win. Okay, now we have the base of our dessert, which is this Oikos 000 vanilla yogurt. It has 15 grams of protein. I try not to smell it before I add in the pudding mix because I just find yogurt gross. I think it smells gross. I think it's really sour and I have to doctor it up to enjoy it, okay? That just is who I am as a person. How do I doctor it up? How have I been doctoring it up lately? Cookies and cream pudding mix, okay? 7 grams of this. That's why I got my food scale back out. I forgot that this is a step that I do. 7 grams of this is like around 25 calories. I like don't even input it into my app or care. I love it because it changes the texture of the yogurt to be like kind of thicker and creamier, and also it's Oreo flavored, so yeah, once you start whipping it up, it just like looks so good. Okay, and then I dump the strawberries directly in, and then I like to take 1 Oreo thin. You can do as many Oreo thins as you'd like, but again, I'm in a bit of a calorie deficit and Oreos are kind of caloric, so I just do 1 Oreo thin, and I'm also going to be putting this brownie on top, so like don't feel bad for me. And I take the butt of my knife and crush it. Okay, once the Oreos are sufficiently pulverized, scrape them into your bowl. And she's already looking swimming. She's already looking beautiful. If I ate a lot over a day, sometimes this is just like what I will do. Like, I'm sorry, that looks incredible. But to make it even better, Fiber One brownie. Okay, I've never had one of these on their own. I've literally only put them into this yogurt bowl. And you know what you want to do? You want to like pulverize the shit out of this again, because I like a really fine texture. I like to get a little bit of the brownie in every bite. So before I even open up the brownie, I just kind of understood the assignment. She's crumbling so beautifully. Also, like, there's chocolate chips within this Fiber One brownie, so the textures that you're getting in here are just so good. I like honestly couldn't say enough good things about the old Fiber One brownie. Okay, getting every crumb. That looks freaking phenomenal, and I'm gonna devour this. This thing is so heavy. I love that. My thing is, like, if I'm gonna eat, I want to feel full. I want to feel satisfied. That has not changed on this journey of mine. This is delicious. It's satisfying. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm gonna go enjoy this in bed, which is what I do every night, and then I'm going to take a bath because my hair is so fucking dirty. That happens when you exercise outside every single day, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll check in with y'all tomorrow for more fun, more antics, and I am going to read tonight, so I'll let you know what I'm reading tomorrow. All right, it is Friday afternoon. I guess like nighttime technically. What do we consider night versus evening versus afternoon? I'm not quite sure. It's 6 p.m. I went to my Pilates class. I'm still in my Pilates outfit, and today hasn't been very exciting, but I am going to update you from here on out because I'm going to be doing some reading today. I'm trying to finish 2 books, Hathor and the Prince, and also Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. Yeah, today has been pretty chill. I did my walk this morning. I had my protein shake before I went. And lately I haven't really been having like a big breakfast. I just like have not been feeling hungry after my morning walks. Maybe it's like the blood sugar stabilization. I'm not quite sure. But I had McDonald's for lunch. I had a number 5 with a Coke. Baby, it was delish. And I have no regrets about that. It was very, very good. I ran an errand while I was out. And while I was out, actually, I got the McDonald's. It wasn't like I was going purely for the McDonald's, so there's nothing wrong with that. And then for dinner, I had one of my Snap Kitchen meals. It was like a sort of chicken and rice bowl. It was very good, very flavorful. It had like a tzatziki sauce with it. And I also introduced Haden to these tacos that we got from Walmart. He had not tried them. I had, and I knew he would enjoy them. The Crisp Ups tacos in the like original flavor. It's like literally shredded chicken in some sort of enchilada-y sauce with like an American cheese slice and a corn tortilla. And it sounds kind of cursed and it looks a little cursed. It tastes so good. It tastes like Taco Bell. Like it's just, it hits the spot. And I think 2 of them is like 15 grams of protein, something like that. Like pretty decent. And they're not like super high in calories. So we like good stuff. And it was really fun eating with him because we haven't eaten dinner together this week. Just seeing how hyped he was for those. I don't know, it made me happy. Maybe like, I always feel good when I recommend people things and they actually enjoy them. So that was nice. The whole reason I wanted to sit down and talk to you though not only to update you, was to talk about a comment that I got. Here's the thing, I read all of my comments over here because there are fewer comments here than there are on the main channel. I mean, generally speaking, I read most of my comments anyway, but I'm always like tuned into what you guys are saying, and I got a comment that felt like a bit of a call out, but I'm using it as an opportunity to call in, or to be called in, I guess. Someone commented, very rightly so, that feels disingenuous or unrelatable when I talk about trying to save money and then also doing hauls all the time. That's absolutely right. I've never claimed to be good with money. At least I don't think I have. I'm not good with money. It's something that I really would like to work on. I think I might have mentioned this before, but the transition from being two like fairly high achieving breadwinnery types, and then me also having YouTube on top of that, to Haden being the one who has the 9-to-5 job and me just working from home, like I lost a fair amount of income from that. And I think that I haven't done the best job at like adjusting to that. I haven't been spending like wildly beyond my means or anything. I'm not in like a ton of credit card debt or anything like that, but I feel like I'm just like not making the wisest spending decisions. And I've noticed it especially when it comes to like my routine, if that makes sense. So like doing 75 hard has taught me a lot about discipline in terms of doing the same thing every day, getting into a routine. But I think because of that, I'm looking for things to make not every day look the same. And so a lot of that honestly turns to just like online shopping, buying things, going out and buying things. And I don't think that's very healthy. And it's not only like in this process that I have turned to that, like I think shopping is just something that like I tend to turn to in general. I'm never going to be perfect in this aspect, and I don't want to hard turn in the other direction and feel guilty about buying things, because I know that that's kind of where Haden has been for a lot of his life. I feel like there's got to be a good middle ground, but I think to get there, what I'd really like to do is like a little bit of a no-buy challenge. I want to do 4 weeks of not buying anything that isn't like essential. And by that, I mean, like I'm still gonna eat food. I'm still gonna get fast food probably a couple of times a week, but I want to challenge myself to not use buying things as like the thing that brings me joy and the thing that like spices up my routine. I'd like to develop better like coping habits. I will say the good news is that I haven't really been turning to buying things as like coping for when things go bad, if that makes sense. I have done that in the past. I've gotten out of the habit of doing that. It really is just I'm bored. And that's not like a good reason to buy things. And it also just like makes life not that great, honestly. Like having to manage more things is not something that I look to. And I feel like I keep getting into this endless cycle of like buying and decluttering and buying and decluttering. And I think we could maybe just like do a better job at like cutting off the buying so that the decluttering actually means something and it like, you know, improves my overall life. So that comment was just so valid. I like read the comment to Haden and he like laughed and he's like, wow, that's too real. He like got a comment from someone at work that was not like at all related to that, but it was like he felt too seen by it, and he's like, that reminds me of this thing that he had like just told me. And yeah, the internet sees all, kind of. I mean, I also share a lot, so it's totally to be expected. But yeah, I also like, I don't want this to be a place where you're feeling like I'm constantly trying to sell you something or that I'm like encouraging unsustainable habits. I think that there was just like, again, like such a pretty lengthy period of time when I was unhappy in my job, but also making a decent amount of money, that 9-to-5, where I was just spending money on stupid shit. And like, I don't want to be that person. I want to develop like healthier habits too. So I like sat down earlier with my planner to like the back pages. I have a bunch of like daily pages, if you will, wrote out my goals and my rules for my no buy and also other things that I want to do, kind of like a dopamine menu. I was kind of like thinking of things that I could do to replace shopping. One thing that I'm definitely going to be doing is creating a like spreadsheet tracker of anything that like catches my eye, anything that I'm tempted to buy, putting it on there. And so not only can I track that stuff and like not forget about it, but also I can look back and be like, look at how much money I saved because like I didn't buy those things. So that's one thing I'm doing. But also again, just like trying to find other like fun ways to do things. And one of the things I'm challenging myself to do over the next 4 weeks is to find 4 things to do with Haden that do not revolve around spending money. I think that'll be fun. I feel like we have a hard time with that. Most of our like default things to do are like going shopping or eating out together, and I would rather like do things together where we're actually like spending time talking and doing things like that. Eating at home together, doing puzzles, watching TV shows, movies, things like that. Literally don't do that. I feel like that's such a thing that like everybody does, is like watch TV together, and we just like don't. Just some musings, just some thoughts. It's been top of mind, and it has been something that's been on my mind too. I think that like also this is, I shouldn't psychologize too much, but I think sometimes when we don't have stressors in our life, we can try to create those if that's something that we have been used to. And I think I talked about this last week too. Like I'm generally very content in my life right now, but I think it's weird being so content and you're unused to it. And so sometimes you want to like create chaos. I think for me, sometimes I'll like kind of overspend to create chaos, and that's not good. That's not healthy. I don't want to do that. I want to have robust savings. I like don't want to be stressed or like shop for cash ever. And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not like in any sorts of like dangerous amounts of debt or anything. Like you don't need to worry about me, but I would like to, I mean, I think we could all probably improve our like spending habits. So I'll probably update you with that. Maybe my most intense challenge yet. Now that I have 75 hard down, I want to take on another challenge. And I feel like you might think, oh, like biting off more than you can chew. But I mean, this whole period of my life is really about self-improvement. And I don't think we always have to be striving for more in every aspect of our lives. Like I said last week, one of the aspects of taking care of yourself is your mental health, how you handle life's challenges. And I think that this would be a good step in the right direction in that regard is, you know, maybe reining in my spending habits. So I'll be finding alternatives to doing things, shopping. And I think part of that too, part of the thing that you're going to be seeing more of, I am really rambling at this point, is cleaning and decluttering. Like I said, I don't want to get in this endless cycle of like buying and decluttering, although I do think regular decluttering is healthy. By doing that, I've noticed that when I keep my house really clean and when I am decluttering regularly and reorganizing and doing all those things, I'm just like more appreciative of the things that I do have and realize that I do actually have an abundance of stuff that I don't need to go out and buy more. So I'll probably see more cleaning content as well. Just wanted to mention this, sprinkle it in, and I will check in with you, you know, weekly on how it's going. I am gonna go downstairs and I am gonna go get comfortable, maybe switch into some PJs and we can get reading because I am really craving like a just chill, kind of lazy Friday night. Hello friends, we are in the car. We just had dinner. I haven't really brought you along with us today, but we did go on a little bit of a shopping excursion, which I feel like is a nice contrast to the last thing I talked about, which was going on a no-buy, and that is going to happen, but listen, Haden wanted a fragrance, so we made that happen. It was fucking raucous at the Neiman Marcus today. There was a DJ. I just don't really feel like DJs should not be playing department stores, I don't think. Yeah. It's not really the atmosphere that
Was it because it was game day?
No, they were doing like a special event, you know? So we got $100 back or whatever.
But the DJ,
I think to make it better for us, and I don't think they understand what better means.
Yeah, okay.
I went on my walk, I worked out, and can I just say, today was the hardest workout. Not physically, but mentally. The amount that I like pushed that shit and did not want to go was a lot. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to be very transparent about that because for the most part this has not been bad. Like I've been able to do it. The first week I think was the hardest, obviously, like getting into it, feeling tired, feeling a little grumpy. Today I just really fucking didn't want to go. I like wanted to watch football, I wanted to lay in bed and be a piece of shit, and I just didn't do that. I actually went to the gym, so good on me, I guess.
You gotta let them know that you're not perfect because like everyone thinks that you are. So sometimes you just have to like be explicit about your imperfections.
I didn't say that. Really want some fucking cookies. I think I'm gonna eat some Oreos when I get home. Now,
you'd have like one Tate's.
I could have 2 Oreos. Also, the thing about Tate's is that unless I want to commit to eating one of those every day for the next 6 days, I just shouldn't open the package. Because those motherfuckers, I don't care.
No, I'll eat the rest of them.
I don't care what you seal them up in. They go soft.
You have 1, I'll have 5.
Softer than a guy who's nervous.
All right.
I've been a little too lazy to make my little parfait lately, and I've been like eating enough in my everyday that I really like can't calorically afford to. But that's fine. Getting back to it next week. I'm also kind of like out of shrubs at this point, but I did tell you that I was going to update you on Hathor and the Prince, or Duke? Prince? Yes, Prince.
How do you spell that?
Hathor. It's kind of Heather, but like Hathor. I thought this was fucking fun. I've never read anything by this author before or anything from the series. The first book is the one that's like pretty popular, but this one just came out. I'm reading it for a list video, or I read it for a list video. Our main character, Hathor, I think she's like the daughter of a Viscount, and she has a lot of attitude and a lot of like gumption. Her goal in life is to marry someone who has like a really big title, and she thinks that she wants to marry this like prince who, I don't know what country he's a prince of, maybe like Germany, Austria, something like that. But his aunt is the Queen of England, so kind of exiled for being not loved by his dad, and now he's in England, kind of penniless, but like he has a title and shit, and she doesn't really know him personally, but she's like, ooh, I'm gonna invite him to this like gathering that we're having at our country home. There's gonna be a bunch of men, a bunch of women, and like we're all gonna try to find partners. Obviously off the bat she does not get along with this man. She thinks that he is the fucking worst. They have a very combative relationship for the first half of the book, and it was so fun, honestly, because it was combative in a way that was like really playful. I liked watching them kind of like shit on each other and like just kind of mess with each other. They kind of pulled pranks, honestly. It was just a whole lot of fun. I do think this turned a little, like the transition from enemies to lovers was really not very seamless for me. Like I wish that there had been a little bit more. Mostly like he professes his love for her too quickly. After, you know, they like fight, he's like, after we like stopped fighting immediately, I'm just like, I'm in love with you, bitch. And that was, it was a bit much for me. Also, there's something that's kind of wildly dramatic at the end of this book, but there's not like a traditional third act breakup, which is also nice. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was cute. If you're looking for kind of a low stakes but fun and charming historical romance, I'd recommend picking this up. Also, I don't know if I said this, but if you can't tell by the title or by the cover, the heroine's black, which is cool. Like, the author kind of just takes liberties with how history actually went and just kind of says, fuck it. We're gonna have, like, rich, powerful black people, kind of like in Bridgerton. And I fuck with that. It was a very good time. Have I finished Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver? No, I haven't. I tried to read more of it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not a bad book, but I'm, like, a little bit bored by it. I am not feeling, like, drawn forward into the story. Kind of like with Wild Love, I just felt like it was a good romance, but I wasn't like, oh, this is so good. Like when I read the other 2 series she has, like the Farmer Boy series. What are those fucking books? Chestnut Springs and Gold Rush Ranch. Like, they have a different vibe, and they're not bad, but they're just, like, not as good as those 2 series. So I don't know. I think maybe it's the setting, maybe it's the characters. I kind of think the next book's gonna be more fun though. Like, I think we're, like, leading up to a good enemies to lovers story, so maybe that'll really knock my socks off, knock my bike shorts off. I don't know. Hayden's just sitting here like, what is life? How's life, Hayden? I feel like we haven't talked to you in a while, and people like you, and they want to know how you're doing.
It's good. Hiring.
Did you like not being home last week?
Not
Did you miss me
particularly.
so much?
No, I mean, that didn't really factor in.
Oh, okay.
I am in love with those tacos now.
Oh, yeah, I told them about the crispy tacos. I almost had those for dinner tonight,
Mm-hmm.
but I needed a little more protein, so
I would have been down. I ate
good.
them last night. I would have had them again tonight.
I need to factor those into, like, a meal time sometime this week, because those things are good.
Mm-hmm.
They're the crisp puffs. I'll put a picture right here. I don't think I put a picture last time I talked, but, like, here's a picture of them.
Wait.
If you want to try them. They have, like, a bunch of different flavors, but the original, I think, are probably the best. Not that I've tried the others, but
I'm curious to know if, like,
Other
other people
people
like them. Yeah.
if you like kind of garbage food like we do, I think you would enjoy it. And by garbage food, I mean, like, if you like Taco Bell, I think you'll enjoy it. Jack in the Box, you'll enjoy them.
Yeah, I think that they're, like, kind of like a good Jack in the Box taco. I don't know if that...
I mean, it is chicken, not beef, I should clarify, but
Yeah. It's like, it's got very similar vibes.
like, it probably shouldn't exist, but it's
Mm-hmm.
damn good that it does. Do you have any exciting plans for tonight? What are you doing tonight?
Work on my factory more. Satisfactory 1.0 launch.
We have not talked about this, but the other day Hayden decided to tell me that
I was very excited that the 1.0 Satisfactory was dropping.
and do you know what this is, y'all? It's a game
They
where
probably do because they're cool.
you build fucking factories. I'm sorry, that is some of the goofiest shit I've ever heard. Like, I love it so much for you, but, like, building factories?
You don't want to know how many hours I have in that game.
I don't. I really don't. I don't want to know. You might be up there. You might not even have a job, and I just don't know. And you've secretly been playing this factory game. Like, you leave home to go play this factory game.
No, I mean, I do have a job, but that being said,
Oh, no.
there was, like, probably a full year of time at my last job where I was playing Satisfactory.
Just putting
like,
in the
every
time.
day. No, I literally, it's funny because I would hop into Discord in the morning, turn on the factory,
Confessions.
stream it for, like, Steve or someone, and then I would say, don't worry, guys, I'm clocked in for work today. And that was what I meant by clocking in. I was clocking into the factory.
So, like, do you think that you could take this expertise and build, like, a real factory?
No, not at all. Yeah, that's not the point.
So is it just, like, the outside? Do you, like, put stuff together on the inside of it? Like,
No,
what?
yeah, the whole thing is you're harvesting the resources from this planet and then putting that into different machines to make different things, right? And then, like, putting together logistics lines of, like, trains and stuff like that.
So, like, kind of like cosplaying, like, Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos just kind of looks like a walking cock.
Well, I am gonna go home and watch football. UT is playing UTSA. I'm sure it already is kind of a blowout, but I would like to watch that. I'd like to watch the obliteration happen. I'd like to listen to an audiobook during the commercial breaks. I would like to not read Wild Eyes. I don't know what I'm gonna listen to. Let's see. Let us see, my friends. I have quite a bit of shit checked out. Oh, Romantasy. A Dawn of Onyx. Oh, I'm listening to Indigo by Miss Bev Jenkins, the queen. So I'm gonna do that. Beverly. And
Beverly?
I'm gonna eat some fucking Oreos. Hello friends, happy Sunday. I am in comfy clothes. I did my walk with Haden this morning, which is nice. It's the first time he's gone on a walk with me. And then I went to Pilates at like noon, and that definitely unlocked a big brain moment for me, which is that on Saturdays, I should just lift earlier in the day, especially if I'm not doing anything like around noon. I should just go and lift at noon so that I can spend the rest of the day watching college football and just like being an absolute degenerate, which is kind of what I'm planning on doing today to an extent. I wanted to check in with y'all though, because I am about to plan my menu for next week, and that's something that I actually haven't really done in the past, and I want to experiment with it because transparently, I've just been having some interesting thoughts around food lately. Nothing like super negative, but I did kind of want to talk about my relationship with food briefly, not getting into the details of like my past with food, but mostly just what's going on now. Also, what is going on now is like my bronzer is kind of not looking great. It's fine. Kind of brought on, I guess, by a comment I received. Not everything in my life is like dictated by comments, but I did like an AMA kind of situation over on Instagram yesterday, which is really fun getting to answer your questions, most of which were like diet and health related. And one of the comments that came up was, am I fearful of potentially developing an eating disorder? Anything like that, because I'm calorie counting, I'm in a calorie deficit, that sort of thing. My immediate instinct was just no. I'm really sensitive about eating disorders, as in I never want to display or promote disordered behavior. But I also think that a calorie deficit and eating disorders are just simply not synonymous. Sometimes we don't have control over what our brains choose to do, but a lot of my approach to this is about making healthier changes and healthier choices. So I'm just constantly checking in with myself about how I'm feeling in a given moment. In August, before I started 75 Hard, I was feeling a little burnt out on calorie counting, and I really felt like I needed a break. So I took a week and a half, not calorie counting, not even really trying to eat in a deficit without tracking. I was like, let's just eat at maintenance. Like, let's have a fun time. Let's not think about it too much. It was great because I knew that my habits that I had been forming and developing led me to a place where I wasn't overeating, I wasn't overindulging or anything like that, but I was still allowing myself to have a good time. It wasn't something that I was constantly thinking about. I don't know, I never get to the place where I'm like demonizing foods in my head. Oh, I can't eat that. Like, that would be so bad for me. Like, I don't know. I haven't gotten to that place. But that's not to say that like I've never had negative feelings around food throughout this process. And again, that's something that I want to continuously check in with myself for. So lately, I will say, especially this past week, I've been feeling not deprived, I would say, because I've been eating a lot of my favorite foods. I've been noticing that because I have been indulging in my favorite foods more often and also trying to fit those foods into a deficit, the volume of food that I have been eating is just not what I would like it to be. So if you think about it like this, right? You can eat kind of whatever you want in a calorie deficit if you think about it, but your day is going to be a lot different if you eat 2 fast food meals, because that's going to take up the majority of the calories that you eat in a day, versus eating at home and planning your meals a little bit more wisely and being able to eat like 4 to 5 meals, you know? And I think that was a problem that I was running into this week. I wasn't even loving everything that I was eating when I was out. Like, got dinner with Haden yesterday and we got fast food for dinner, and I just like honestly wasn't in the mood for it, but I knew we didn't have anything at home and it was easy and whatever. And I think I want to like reel back on that a little bit and also just make some positive changes that will leave me feeling satisfied, nourished, and just feeling good. And I'm not gonna lie too, another thing that's like kind of encouraging me to do this is my GI system is just like not doing super well after those antibiotics. I was at one extreme and now I'm at the other extreme, and I'm just like not doing super well gastrointestinally, if you will, and I want to feel good. So I am going to put together a menu this week that should hopefully sort of mitigate that. I've never done this in the past. Normally what I do for Haden and I, if we're gonna eat dinners together, is put together a list of dinners for the week, and I don't put them on certain days or anything like that. I don't really think about what lunches I'm gonna have in advance, which I did this week, you know, with my Snap Kitchen stuff. But I think if I kind of put it all together and actually plan out every day what lunch, breakfast, dinner, dessert, snacks I'm gonna have, I'll be set up for success. I'll be able to see the abundance and the volume that I want to be eating, and I won't be not even tempted by fast food, but I won't need to rely on it because I like, you know, just didn't plan for a certain meal. And a big part of that too is that I want to supplement a lot of the foods that I'm eating with more fiber and more vegetables. I've been slacking on my fiber, which is probably also why I'm not doing so great. But like thinking about getting some Snap Kitchen meals, I really loved that pasta that I had. Both of the pastas, the cacio e pepe and the hatch chili alfredo, they're both awesome. But to not only add to the nutritional value, but also add to the volume on my plate, to supplement with some veggies in a big way, like a shitload of broccoli or asparagus or something like that, make everything better. And so that's kind of the mindset that I'm going into this next week with. I also have this little like spreadsheet tracker thing that I use too. I have basically listed out all of the foods that I enjoy with all of the macronutrients so that I can sort of like puzzle piece together what will get me to the ideal ranges for certain meals, right? Like, okay, for breakfast, I know I need to aim for this calorie range with this amount of protein. So I'm going to put these things together. And just having it on that spreadsheet makes it a lot easier, not having to like search things up every time. There is a lot of like planning that goes into being in a deficit. I won't lie. It does consume a fair amount of my time, not as much as I like had anticipated. And I'm hoping that like once I get more into the swing of making a menu every week, if this is something that works out for me and I like, that it is pretty seamless, only takes maybe like an hour on a Sunday, and then I'm set up for the week. Because that's the thing, I don't want to have to be like constantly wondering what my next meal is going to be, how I'm going to source that, etc. I want to just like have everything laid out in front of me. So like I said, constantly checking in with myself, figuring out what I need and not depriving myself, because that is like number one thing that I do not want to do in my life is deprive myself. I'm going to be able to schedule in some fast food as well on this menu, you know, like I want to eat the things that I want to eat, plan my meals, and I will pop in with you once I'm done and like maybe talk to you about it a little bit. And I also might listen to some more of Indigo, which I listened to on my walk today, which was really quite nice. Both the walk and the book. I think I'm like 52% into Indigo, and I would like to finish that one tonight because I feel like I haven't read much in this vlog. Kind of a shame, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll be back. Okay, so I did it. Planned all of my meals for the week, and I kind of feel like I could run through a brick wall. I'm feeling very good about it. A few of you actually have already asked over on Instagram how I meal plan, and I'm like, just because I said I was meal planning doesn't mean that I know how to meal plan. You know what I mean? I don't have any like tips or tricks or hacks necessarily, but I guess I can tell you how I did this, and maybe I can like insert screenshots of kind of what I've been doing. But what I've done in the past while on this journey to try to like track things and or fit things into my macros is by creating like a chart almost that has the different macronutrients broken up: carbs, proteins, fat, and I actually included fiber this time as well because you know, we want to include that along with like total calories for the day. Anyway, I put my targets on a table. I also put the amount like added up in a meals column, and then I also have a column for like how much is left, so that way as I am starting to total things up, I know how many macros I have left in each category and like what I should be aiming for different meals. So the way that I sort of did it this week, in specific the things that I knew that I wanted to keep and I wanted to have every single day, were my morning protein drink. I love it because I get 30 grams of protein for very few calories. It keeps me full for like a decent amount of time. I'm not hungry on my walks. It's just a non-negotiable for me. I don't care if it's processed. I personally really like it. So I have to have my Premier protein drink. I've also tried the Fairlife ones. I got them at Costco and I actually prefer the Premier, and I think that's just because I've been drinking the Premier for longer. I think most people would prefer the Fairlife if anyone was looking for my recommendation there. I think most people would prefer the Fairlife because it tastes like actual chocolate milk. The Premier kind of has like a tire flavor to it, but I like it. Okay. And then of course my yogurt bowl, which I showed y'all. In the past, I have like gone back and forth on whether or not I want to make the brownie like an everyday component of it. I do, but I'm like, that's taking up technically a lot of like my calorie allotment for the day. But I'm happy to report that I was able to eat the brownie on top of my yogurt bowl every single day this week. But it fits into my macros and it has a lot of fiber, so I just feel like I need to include it. I have a hard time getting fiber in my diet, even eating vegetables and beans. I would have to eat so many beans to hit my daily target for fiber every single day. I got pretty close most days, so I'm happy with that. The only thing that I'm like, I must hit is the protein. I don't try to like perfectly hit carbs and fat every day. It would be way too challenging to try to get the perfect balance, but as long as I'm like staying within my calorie deficit and hitting my protein goal, getting some fiber, I'm good. So yeah, those are the two non-negotiables for me, and I was able to fit in breakfast, lunch, and dinner as well. I mean, I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer, but lately, I mean, I've been going back and forth on whether or not I really want breakfast. Normally what I want is like lunch around noon and then like a smaller meal right before I exercise and then dinner later. It doesn't really matter. I'm calling it breakfast for this purpose, but I can eat it any time. An example of one of the days, my menu, I'm going to have a protein drink for my pre-walk. I'm going to have a breakfast bowl for breakfast. That is something that I have been making for a while over here. It's scrambled eggs with egg whites plus American cheese, because I like American cheese. Okay, I know that it's like not real cheese, but I don't care. Plus black beans, plus some breakfast potatoes that I bought 36 pounds of off of the internet. I love that. So I'm having that for breakfast. For lunch, I'm having this Caesar wrap, which is basically the carb smart tortilla, which has a lot of good fiber, some chicken, some Caesar dressing, some like romaine lettuce, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese. It's like a little to go kind of snack, which will be perfect to fuel me before my workouts. I just feel like for me, there's too big of a gap between lunch and dinner, and so I think that'll be like perfect. I mean, I guess it is lunch, but I'm probably gonna eat the breakfast bowl at like lunchtime and then this at like 2 or 3. Anyway, for dinner on this particular day, I'm gonna be eating the cacio e pepe Snap Kitchen meal that I had this past week. It was really good, so I decided to get that one again. And then for dessert, of course, my yogurt bowl. So like looking at this, I can already tell I'm gonna be so satisfied. I'm also eating 121.5 grams of protein, which I love to see, and 23.5 grams of fiber, and that's if I don't do any fiber supplementation, which I do typically do. I take my supplements at night. I don't take a ton of like supplements, but oil, my prenatal, that sort of thing. I also take a couple of fiber gummies as well before bed, which is an additional 5 grams of fiber, so feeling good about that. That's like one of the days of the week. And all the other days of the week look pretty different. I did repeat some of the meals, and there are some meals with like shared ingredients, but I'm trying to like switch things up and challenge myself, because like for the breakfast bowl, for instance, I get a little burnt out having that same exact meal every day. So Monday I'm doing the breakfast bowl. Tuesday I'm doing a variation, which is going to have the black beans, the eggs, the cheese, but I'm going to put it in one of my carb smart tortillas and make a quesadilla, like a breakfast quesadilla. So a little bit different without the breakfast potatoes. Wednesday doing the breakfast bowl again, but then Thursday and beyond it kind of switches up. I'm doing this like Tex-Mex breakfast burrito from Snap Kitchen. Friday I'm doing egg bites. Saturday I am doing the Premier protein pancakes. I have them in my deep freezer and I haven't tried them yet, which should be exciting. And then on Sunday I'm trying overnight oats for the first time. Hayden has been eating those like the traditional overnight oats style way. I think it's called Oats Overnight, is the brand, but I'm going to be eating them heated up. I don't like cold oatmeal, so it should be a fun week. And that's kind of the amount of variation I have for like every other meal. I'm not doing a lot of repeat stuff, again, besides the protein drink in the morning and the yogurt at night, but those are things that are like, I love those, so I want to continue to do those every day. And maybe I'll switch it up in future weeks and not do my yogurt or whatever, but goddamn, I look forward to that yogurt. So that's like kind of how I have been meal planning. It was kind of fun doing the like, I was going to say addition and subtraction. My spreadsheet was doing that for me, but it was kind of fun trying to like see what I could fit together, and also just being able to see all the variation. It excites me. It has me looking forward to the week ahead. I really, really, really like routine. I really like not guessing what food I'm going to have to eat that certain day, or, you know, try to scrounge up a meal last second. That's just like not, it's just not for me. And I know that about myself. I know some people like to just be free and loose in the moment and have ingredients in their fridge and just like make something. That's just not me. Okay. It's not me. Maybe it will be one day. But I think steps at a time is important. So happy with this. And I'm honestly happy with today. I haven't done a whole lot, but I did do this. It didn't take very long, actually. It took about an hour, and I ordered my Snap Kitchen for the week. If you're curious, I ended up doing 5 different things. They're not all the traditional meals. I got like 3 normal meals, or like 3 dinners. I got 1 of the breakfast burritos, and then I also got some white chicken chili that looks really good. And for the first 5 days of the week, I'm using a Snap meal for either like a breakfast, lunch, or dinner. For the latter part of the week, I'm switching it up a little bit. And I also, if you were curious, factored in my fast food for the week. I've already determined what I want and what days of the week I'm eating that. So again, factoring that in, knowing the kind of person I am and like what I like to eat, I think this is good. I think this is something I could maybe do every week. I mean, obviously it's a bit of a time commitment, but I think that this might be my new normal. We'll see. I'll report back. I mean, I could be getting ahead of myself here, but feeling good about it. If you're curious what we had for dinner, we just had dinner. I'm so full actually from it. We had the Trader Joe's carbonara that I hauled. I don't know if it was in this vlog or the last one, but it was very mid, I have to say. Of all the Trader Joe's pastas, it's like very bland. It's not normal carbonara. It's very like cream saucy. There's not a whole lot of flavor to it, so I was not personally impressed. He also, I will say, cooked me a chicken breast to go in my little Caesar wraps for the following week, or like for Monday and beyond. So happy about that. I feel like I ask him to do these things, he always agrees to do it, and then neither of us like put the initiative together to make it happen, and I made that happen today, so pleased with that. Any other updates for you? Because I think is the end of the road, my friends. I had a bit of a come to Jesus moment with myself, realized I really need to get cracking on Hayden's taste test. I have been listening to 1 audiobook for it, but just like not enough, and I think that's what I need to focus on for the rest of the night. I'm going to listen to The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. The audiobook narrator is truly fantastic, and I'm actually having a good time with it, but it's a 7-hour audiobook. Well, 7 hours for me to listen to, that is, and all of them are quite long. Similarly long. I have to read Oathbringer for this video, so that should be interesting. What a week. What a week. It has been an interesting one. I am really looking forward to the week ahead. I have some plans for sure. We're going to be doing some stuff dopamine-wise together. I'm planning on bringing all of my winter fall clothes downstairs, doing kind of like a swap out of my wardrobe, which I think should be fun and satisfying, and hopefully curb the urge to buy anything. But yeah, excited to show you all that. Also show you my meals, and just, you know, do the same stuff that we always do. One thing I did want to say before I go though, I put a community post in the community post tab over on YouTube asking y'all if you had any additional questions for me about health, fitness, diet, etc. Realized I just really want to sit down and talk about this in a video. Obviously I talk about health and fitness pretty much every week because it's like top of mind for me, but now that I'm halfway into my journey, I would love to just do a full sit down, answer questions, tell you where I've been, tell you all the ins and outs, and just, you know, get into the weeds. So if you have additional questions or just things that you are curious about for your own journey, in the comments here or over on the community post, either way. But thanks so much for watching this vlog. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next one.